I have witnessed wild boars getting caught in traps many times, but I had never experienced a morning as intense as that one. The constant rattling of metal, the sound of earth and rocks being churned up, and the deep noises echoing from within the forest made the entire area seem to erupt into chaos. It all began with a cornfield that had been devastated in just a few nights. The previous week, when I returned to my hometown to visit my grandmother, she did not say much. She simply pointed silently toward the field behind the house. When I looked over, I was stunned. Nearly half of the field had been destroyed. The corn stalks were flattened, many plants had been ripped from the ground, and the soil was rough and churned up as if it had just been subjected to a violent plowing. No one was using machinery at night, and it did not take us long to realize that the culprits were herds of wild boars that kept coming here to search for food. The boars were becoming increasingly cautious. They usually appeared after complete darkness had fallen, quickly tearing through the cornfield before retreating into the forest before the first light appeared. An older hunter from the village said that the herd had a particularly intelligent lead boar. It always went ahead to scout the route, and the moment it detected anything unusual, the entire herd would immediately change direction. If we could not find a way to control the situation, this year's harvest could be seriously affected. That morning, David, several men from the village, and I decided to begin a new plan. We followed the clearly visible tracks left in the soft ground, leading from the field deep into the forest. After several hours of searching, we discovered a path that the boars frequently used. It was an ideal location for setting up steel cage traps. We quickly brought all the equipment there and divided the work among ourselves. One group prepared the cage frames and checked the trapdoor mechanisms, while another secured the trap locations so they would not shift when the boars rushed inside. Every cage was carefully inspected, from the joints to the locking mechanisms, because even the smallest mistake could cause the entire plan to fail. As night fell, the forest became unusually quiet. Then, on the screen, the first dark silhouettes began to appear. One boar approached, stopped for a few seconds to observe its surroundings, and then continued moving. Then came the second, the third, and finally the entire herd. One by one, they moved toward the steel cages, completely unaware of what was waiting ahead. Suddenly, one of them noticed something unusual and turned back. The boars behind it immediately crowded together, throwing the entire herd into confusion. A metallic clang rang out in the darkness. The cage door slammed shut. Moments later, another trap was triggered. A series of impacts echoed from several directions. I stared at the screen, my heart pounding as I realized that it was not just one trap that had been activated. Multiple cages throughout the area were being triggered one after another. We immediately split up to check each location, while keeping a safe distance and following local regulations. Under the flashlight beams, the steel cages appeared among the shadows of the trees, containing large wild boars with powerful, muscular bodies. They kept moving restlessly, causing the steel frames to shake repeatedly. It was a moment that was both tense and astonishing, because the size of the herd was far greater than we had anticipated. When daylight began to break, we returned to inspect the entire area. The animals held in the cages were handled according to an appropriate plan, ensuring the safety of both the local people and the animals while complying with local laws and regulations. We thought everything was over, but on the way back, one of the men suddenly stopped and pointed at the ground beside the trail. A large footprint was deeply imprinted in the wet mud, much larger than the tracks we had just seen. I followed the trail of footprints leading into the forest and suddenly understood. The lead boar was still out there. It had avoided every single trap. And if this footprint really belonged to it, then what happened the night before may have been only the beginning of an even bigger confrontation. Texas residents have become increasingly frustrated as sounders of wild hogs continue appearing across farmland and tearing up the ground for hours at a time. Using their snouts, they overturn the topsoil, leaving behind countless deep holes and large stretches of uneven terrain. The animals also move deeper into cornfields that are nearly ready for harvest, trampling rows of crops and snapping large numbers of stalks. Within only a few days, once healthy fields are left devastated, causing severe damage across thousands of acres and nearly wiping out months of hard work. Wild hogs are not only destroying farmland, but are also appearing more frequently in residential areas, both at night and in broad daylight. They travel in groups along streets, digging up soil and roadside lawns with their snouts, leaving the surroundings covered with disturbed earth and visible damage. Whenever they discover a garbage collection area, the entire sounder quickly moves in, knocking over containers and tearing open trash bags in search of food. Their sudden appearance frightens pedestrians, forcing people to move out of the way. In some cases, wild hogs have even charged toward residents, creating a direct safety risk within the neighborhood. As wild hogs continued damaging farmland and residential areas, local residents were forced to build a large trapping system near the edge of the forest. They installed infrared cameras to monitor every movement, then scattered corn from outside the enclosure toward the center, so the animals could gradually become familiar with the area. For several nights, the team patiently watched the live camera footage without activating the gate. In an operation like this, patience was the key to success. They understood that acting too early would frighten the remaining hogs and prevent them from ever returning. After several days of careful monitoring, the sounder began returning regularly and gradually moved farther into the trapping area. When no signs of danger were detected, the lead hog cautiously entered to eat the corn, encouraging the others to follow one by one. The residents remained calm and continued watching until the entire group had gathered inside. They then activated the system remotely. Within seconds, the steel gate dropped and secured the whole sounder inside. The result proved that building the trap had been the right decision and showed that patience and careful observation were essential to the operation's success. Although the first trap produced a positive result, a large number of wild hogs still remained in the surrounding area. The residents therefore expanded the campaign to other locations where tracks and signs of rooting frequently appeared. They constructed more large traps, installed surveillance cameras, and scattered corn from outside each enclosure toward the center. On the very first night, a sounder arrived and cautiously circled the area before entering one by one to feed. Once the entire group was inside, the system was triggered remotely, causing the steel gate to drop and secure a large number of hogs. The following morning, the residents divided into several teams and traveled to each location to inspect the results. As the traps came into view, they were surprised to discover that more hogs had been captured than expected. Some traps held only a few adults, while others contained nearly an entire sounder of animals of different sizes. After carefully recording the numbers, the teams worked together to open guiding passages, move the hogs onto specialized transport vehicles, and take them to a designated processing area. The entire operation was carried out cautiously to protect everyone involved and prevent the animals from escaping back into the environment. This campaign demonstrated that controlling wild hog populations cannot depend on a single action or one successful night. The results came from patience, careful observation, and the combination of practical experience with modern technology. Residents not only protected their cornfields and neighborhoods, but also gained a better understanding of the animals' movement patterns. Although new sounders may still appear, every well-placed trap and every carefully monitored operation helps reduce future damage. It is also a reminder that protecting the results of months of labor requires careful planning, persistence, and respect for the balance of nature.